What's up everyone? Lance Hedrick here, and we're back with part 2 of those top 10 mistakes I see beginner latte artists and advanced latte artists make. First video is 1 through 5, and we're doing 6 through 10 in this one. All right, so again, I want to just thank Slow Pour Supply for sponsoring this series. If you haven't seen the first video, what Slow Pour does is they started as a company that really supplied a lot of milk jugs for latte artists around the country. Then they kind of pivoted into a full-out coffee symposium. They have all these different pieces of equipment, from April brewers to origami brewers and origami cups to Time War scales and Time War hand grinders and more. Go check them out. The pitchers I swear by, that's what I've been using for years, including my own 15-ounce round spout handleless pitcher I use, and I've been using for years. Before this YouTube thing came along, I've been an ardent supporter of Slow Pour Supply, so check them out. Link is in caption below. Thank you again, Slow Pour. Now, the 6 through 10, these 5 mistakes that I see, I'm just going to go through them right now so that you have in mind what you're prepared to see. Number 1, the number 6, I guess I should say, the 6th biggest mistake, and these are more on form than anything else, is in the pour itself, I see people pull back as opposed to go forward, and I'll show you what I mean momentarily. Number 7 is claw gripping the pitcher or tilting the cup. Now, these two things go hand in hand, but these can greatly skew your design, and we'll go over that here in a second. Number 8, the thing that I see is people not rotating their cup adequately whenever they're pouring their design, all right? And number 9, I see people trying to ripple too fast whenever they're doing their rippled layers or their wings. The final one that I see beginner and advanced latte artists make is trying to do too much, not finishing anything because they're trying to put too much in the cup. Keep it simple, stupid. K-I-S-S. All right, so let's get going on number 6. All right, so I see a lot of you when you're making your shapes, whether you're doing multiple stacks, whether you're rippling, whether you're doing anything, I see you pull back instead of go forward. So I'm going to show what I mean. Let's take a rippled base, for instance. I'm going to lay my base. I'm going to ripple. Now watch. I should be going forward here, but I see people pulling back. And then when they do the heart on the top, instead of going forward, they pull back. So you see what happens here. Look at this. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Not only does this base, and ideally, if you watch my winged video, which I have linked right above, you should have a U here for that wing base. Instead, look, it's a flat line. And that's because as you were rippling back, okay? So none of these had a chance to envelop and to turn over into the center. Now imagine if I were to ripple forward, each line would be wrapping up. But instead, it's essentially a straight line. You see that? It's essentially a straight line because I was pulling backwards. And it looks kind of like oniony, right? We want those ripples forward. And on the heart on the top, you can see how the brown was really confused, because instead of pushing forward to wrap this heart deep and have a really nice looking heart like that, instead we have this weird shape, onion looking heart that came up in a weird way, and then when I lifted and pulled through, it was an oblong, awkward looking heart. What we want here is to push forward as well. So I'm going to do the same design, but I'm going to push forward after each layer is created, all right? So this is what it looks like to push forward with every part of your design, all right? Same pour as the last one. Lay the base, and I'm rippling. And look, I'm going to go forward, forward, forward. And then watch, forward, forward, forward. All right. So that's what it looks like to ripple forward versus what the other one looked like. So as you see, we have the lines that wrap to the middle, 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 and this heart is nice and sexy with that deep plunge right in the middle, all right? Whereas this one was straight across because I pulled back. So you want to ensure you're always going forward with every shape of your design, okay? I pushed forward on the ripple base, and look at that, beautiful. I did not push forward. Instead, I pulled back on this one, straight line of rips. Then on the heart, I pushed forward. We have a nice, sexy, deep plunging heart. This one, we had a weird onion-looking thing with an awkward cut down the middle. So keep in mind, ripple forward, don't pull back. Push forward, don't pull back. So the number 7 mistake that I see is what is referred to as claw gripping or cup, and there's also cup tilting, but I'm going to show claw grip because this is what I mostly see. So pay attention to what I do, and then I'll talk about it. All right, so let's look at what happened. Where's my pen? There it is. So as you see, when I was rippling, it favored this side, whereas this side was kind of wonky. And you see how it blew out over here and not over here. And then as you see on the heart, when I pushed, it looked like it was coming from a side. People get confused as to why their pores are crooked like this. And the easiest explanation is what's called claw gripping. Now for this one, I used a handled pitcher so I could show you properly. Ideally, when you're pouring, it's perpendicular, right? So when you're holding it, you want it to be perpendicular. Frequently though, people prefer to tilt to their body. You see that? So as opposed to straight up and down, people tilt to their body. Then as they're rippling, think about that. The foam is going to prefer this side because it's easier to escape over here. You see that? So when I'm whipping it out, it whips over this flat side really easily. So you get really nice lines. And then as you come back, it's much more pointed because that's where the point is. So as you're rippling, it's going to favor this side. And then when I stack, you see how the foam is going to greatly come out crooked? You see that? And so I have a crooked heart where it favors that side. And this also means whenever you're pouring and you see one side wrap higher than the other side, you see how the bulk of this is wrapping up high and the bulk of this is up to here. You have a little milk that trickled here, but for the most part it's down here. That's from most likely claw gripping. So you want to look, have someone film you from in front and watch where your spout is. If you're straight up and down, you're good to go. If you're favoring your body, if you're right-handed, it'd be this way. If you're left-handed, it'd be this way. If you're claw gripping, you need to change that so you don't have something like this. So we're going to change that, and I'll show you what a non-claw grip pour for that same design. Lay the base. You notice that you're tilting, so you fix it. All right. So we fixed the claw grip. We're able to get a more even side-by-side pour of the same design. All right. So I still, as you see, I still had a little bit of claw grip going on with that. It's hard with handled pitchers to really get that perfect up and down depending on how you grip it. It's a difficult thing because you want to favor your body. And that is honestly why I use the handleless pitcher. I find it easier to get the grip where I'm not clawing. But with people who have handles, I see this frequently. People are asking why it wraps more on one side. You're either claw gripping it, or the other issue, which I'm not going to show because this is an easy one to understand, you're holding your cup at an angle, which is going to have the same effect as claw grip. So if you're holding your cup at an angle, that's an issue. But typically, people are claw gripping their pitchers. To figure out if this is what you're doing, have someone film you from in front, and you'll be able to see immediately which one you're doing. So if you have one side wrapping higher than another, or it looks crooked, film from in front and take a look. So the 8th mistake I see people make is they don't rotate their cup very well as they're pouring, which can cause what you're about to see. So you lay the base. All right, and then I see people start their rippling. And then they're wondering why they don't have room for the rest of the design. So you see how this pour is stuck in the top half of the cup. Even though I was pouring at a decent flow rate, because look, I was able to wrap brown in every line. Even though I was able to wrap brown in, it doesn't fill the cup. And why is that? It's because we weren't rotating the cup to allow the design to fill out more of the cup. All right? You have to add momentum to your pour by rotating that cup, by bringing the tilt down, and it's going to absorb. It will absorb your shape. So we shot that at a 45-degree angle, and you'll be able to see that I wasn't really rotating. So it was just stopping. The design found where it felt comfortable in the viscosity and the concretization of that liquid, and it stopped expanding. If we were to rotate, we're adding velocity, we're adding momentum to our flow, and it's allowing these layers to expand so they're not as tight, and it allows for a more full shape in the cup, which I'll show you right now. This is what it will look like to rotate the cup well. So we lay our base, we start pouring at the same spot, but watch, when I rotate, did you see that? So if you go back and watch that, I started the ripple the same place I did on the other one, but right when I rotated, you saw those lines spread out and fill the cup. And now look at the design. We have all of these nicely wrapped layers that are filling the cup and have a lot of brown integrated in it. And it allowed me to get that U. I was able to push forward so that the heart wasn't smashed between these layers. I was able to fully push out and really expand the design because of my attention to rotation. All right, so number 9, the 9th worst mistake or most common mistake I see people make is when they're starting, they try to ripple too fast when they learn how to do wing bases. So you can ripple quickly if you are advanced and you have a lot of control and you understand what you're doing. But for the most part, you don't need to in order to get a lot of lines. So this is what I see people doing. They're taking their picture, they start, and then they start rippling really fast. And this is what happens. So we did get a lot of lines, but as you see, it was really erratic, and there is no way that we're able to continue that pace to come back on the stalk. So when you're rippling that quickly, you're not really pushing out a lot of foam, because to ripple fast, you have to pour more slowly. The slower you pour, the less foam is going to come out, the harder it is going to make any type of design like this, right? So if you want a fine line, you can get fine lines without rippling super quickly. And I'll show you what I mean on this next rosetta that I pour, doing a lot of lines, but without rippling this erratically with as little control as I had. All right, so this is going to be the same pour, a rosetta, with a lot of lines, but I'm going to be a lot more methodical in my ripples. So we lay the base, and then I'm going to come down and watch. So look, I was able to achieve a lot of lines, but I was not erratic, and I was able to get enough foam out for a stalk because I was pouring slower. So you can either pour really quick to try to get a lot of lines, but you're going to lose a lot of clarity because a lot of foam isn't coming out when you ripple that fast, or you can get really nice white foam to come out, get a lot of clarity between the lines, and still have the foam to make a stalk. Now, the same principle works with winged bases or rippled hearts or anything else. You want to have more of a lax back and forth and allow more foam to come out so that you can maintain your color as opposed to losing all the color like in this pour where it's all beiged out because there's such little foam coming out with those tiny ripples. You want to have a little bit more of a pendulum swing when you're rippling, and you can still get a ton of lines without losing any of the clarity. All right, so the 10th most common mistake I see amongst beginner latte artists, and honestly even more so with people who have been doing this for a while, is trying to fit too much. So I'm going to do a pour right now and show you what I mean. So you'll have people who finally figure out how to do a nice wing base. They stop and they go, ah, nice wing base, nice, nice, nice. And then they'll go, okay, let's do a heart. Okay, yeah, I got more room. 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 And now look how awful that looks. You try to fit too much. You don't fully wrap any of these. You see how that doesn't wrap. You see how that doesn't wrap. You see how as you kept stacking, this kept wrapping and it started to wrap in and it started to look. It started to beige out the lines here. So we don't have clean separation of the hearts. We don't have enough milk at the end to make a clean draw through. We have this wrapping in. It looks awful. We tried too much. We thought we would up the difficulty of the pour and that it would add to aesthetic beauty, but instead it detracts from it. All right? So you see that right there. That's trying too much. And I see this with everything. People doing stacked tulips, trying to fit 20 in a cup. People trying to do too many ripples. People trying to do too many leaves on a whatever. I see too much. Stop doing too much. Keep it simple, stupid. That's my lifestyle. It's my brand, my motto. So I'm going to do a similar pour to this, but we're going to keep it simple, stupid. All right? And this is what it will look like if you're keeping it simple, stupid, not overcomplicating it. We're wanting full wraps. We're wanting things not to wrap in each other. Now look. Now the base wasn't great. Like I said, I'm shaky. Caffeine's hitting, no food. But look at the difference here. This, we don't have full wrap on us any layer. We have the base wrapping into the design because we put so many sinkholes in that the base kept wrapping up. Whereas on this one, we kept clean separation between the base and the heart. None of the base wrapped into the heart because we didn't keep adding sinkholes. And look at the full wrap of both layers, and we maintained a nice brown line between the two. And I had enough to make a nice pull through without making a slug trail. All right, so keep it simple, stupid. This is much more aesthetic beauty than this one does. All right, so those are my 10 identifiable mistakes that I commonly see people doing with latte art, whether it's through DMs or people tagging me in things, or people in my Discord where I really help a lot of people with their latte art. I let them send me videos there. I don't take them on DMs anymore. So if you want to have that accessibility to me, check out my Patreon below in the caption. I would love for you to join. But anyway, those are the 10 most common mistakes I see. I'll do some more videos like this in the future, but for now, work on those on 1 through 10. Here's the video of part 1 that you may not have seen. If you haven't, it's right there. Click on it and give that a look. But yeah, those are what I see most commonly. I urge you to work on those because you will be able to greatly, leaps and bounds, improve your latte art. And if you watched this and you haven't even started latte art, check out this video here. It's my beginner's guide to latte art. And if you're like, I don't even have the milk texture for latte art, well, good for you. I got a steaming milk tutorial I linked right there. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you again to Slow Pour Supply for not only having awesome pitchers, which is what I use and swear by, but having incredible coffee tools